Obviously, people here at the Offshore Europe Conference have their focus on issues in the offshore sector, but it's been increasingly hard to ignore escalating tensions in the Middle East over a possible Western intervention in Syria and how that might impact the broader oil industry. Risk consultancy AKE Limited issued a special report to offshore Europe goers documenting their worries that any strike could have, quote, major reverberations throughout the region and increase animosity towards oil installations there. We spoke with AKE Chief Executive Andrew Kain a little bit more about that report.
We get the information from a variety of sources, including media, our own people on the ground, consultants in different regions, and local journalists. And we put it together, make sure that it's corroborated, and try and express a view as to what we believe is happening.
And I know your latest report highlighted the increasing international concern about the situation in Syria. Can you tell us a little bit about what that might mean for the oil industry?
I think Syria is symptomatic of the whole region, and what you're seeing is a new dynamic. In the future for the energy industry, I don't think it'll be confined to dealing with countries per se as Syria. You're seeing the geography changing in as much as it's becoming more tribal, religious. The geographical boundaries that existed are changing, and so the dynamic on the ground is going to change, and it will have an impact on the energy industry.
Kain's concern about trouble in Syria spilling over into neighboring countries was echoed by Baroness Nicholson, Executive Chairman of the Iraq-British Business Council. Earlier in the day, Baroness Nicholson spoke about Iraq at a panel on operating in frontier areas.
Iraq has a 10% growth rate year on year at the moment and has a terrific upsurge in oil and gas, and there's all to play for. Of course, there are a large number of difficulties. It's a very volatile situation physically, but what is remarkable is how well some of the growth is coming on. And in different parts of the country, and I visit most places very freely, I was there just last week, we'll be there in 10 days' time again, you'll find new roads, airports, schools, hospitals starting. There's a terrific upsurge. The volatility, at least in part, stems from the tragic hemorrhaging of Syria next door. And as we all know, the war in Syria has spilt over every single border, and Iraq has received, I think, almost 500,000 Syrian refugees. So, and with that comes a lot of fighters and difficulties and all the rest of it around the whole country, just the same as in Lebanon and, of course, in a different way in Turkey. So the hemorrhaging of Syria has grossly affected badly the stability of Iraq. But that does not stop necessarily the growth of inward investment, particularly on oil and gas, construction and infrastructure, finance and professional services, and so on.